Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
I'll start with the A-B testing and interacting part. I think probably it doesn't take much time for us to take the two of this topic. Once we complete this, and then we'll proceed further to the next topic. Just starting with an A-B testing. Now we have a data extension. We also have the email templates. We should be able to do A-B testing. Here there are plenty of A-B testing that has been created. Let me click on Create A-B Testing. Perfect. Here we have a subject line testing emails content area from name, date and time, pre-orders. There are plenty of test type that we have in A-B testing. You need to understand when do we have to use this subject line testing and when do you have to use a from name testing. Basically, if you don't have a good open rate, the open rate is very less. Suppose you are sending email to 10,000 customers, only 100 customers are opening your email. There are three things that you need to check. First thing, you have to check whether the emails are going to inbox or stand folder. That's one. Second thing is subject line relevant to the email that you're sending. Is it relevant to the customers? Subject matter plays a big role. It plays a very big role for opening the email. When I go to my inbox in Gmail or any other domain, the first thing that comes to me is like a from name and the subject line. I look at the from name, I look at the subject line, and if it's from the company that I'm following really closely, then I'll open the email. Otherwise, I don't open the email. The subject line and from name is very important for opening an email. When you have a less open rate, I use either one of these testing methods to understand why my emails are not getting open. Here in the A-B testing, let me give some random names here. Here is the test type. I have a subject line. I have also from name. For two of this type, we immediately use it for whenever you have an issue for open rate. Let me pick up the email template now. I'll just go with this email which I have created. Now the email is selected and we have subject line A, which is already coming on the email template. Here I get an option to come up with a new subject line again. Trying to get 50% of using blah blah blah. Here I can only see 70%. Also the same percentage. Here I am putting 50% and putting 70%. You can test out two subject lines. Now we are going to send the email. It's going to be the same mail, but only subject line is going to be changing. For some set of customers, they will receive the subject line B. That's why exactly we are trying to achieve. And then we are trying to understand which subject line is really working out for us. Now we have a two subject line. Two of the subject line has a different content all put together. Let's imagine. But in the subject line, we have a very slight difference. But usually two proper subject lines, which will be all put together, are different. Then we test out which one is really working out. Now let's go to the next step, which is going to be picking up the recipients. Picking up the recipients is very easy. We can use a list, audience, or group or data extension where you may have your audience. Let's pick up that. When you click on it, you have a list, group, and data filters. What way we have customers is a data extension. Here's my data extension which I have created. Now we duplicate data extension by email address. There's a question list, publication list, exclusion list. We have discussed much about this in the previous session. I'll skip this part. Here is something new. I have 50%, 50%. That means 50% of the customers will get the subject line B. 50% of the customers will get the subject line B. I have about 6 subscribers in the data extension that I'm using here. There are totally 6 subscribers. I'm splitting them here. There is also one category called reminder. Suppose if I give some 20% here for this reminder category. This reminder category will get the email once the biller is decided automatically. We can pick up the winner manually or automatically. When you say automatic, system will find the winner automatically based on certain criteria. Once the winner is decided, this reminder category will get the email communication from us. The winner category will get the winner content. It will get the winner content once the winner is decided. Let me proceed further with the next step, which is going to be configuring the winner. How do we measure this winner? How long we have to monitor? That's the part that we're going to be doing it in a third step. There are no issues in the email. Everything is perfect. If there are any post investigation error or something, we'll be throwing an error when we go to the third step. Now we are going to be determining the winner by open rate of its rate. This is something that we have to say. What we are majorly testing out now is a subject line. Subject line is meant for determining your open rate. I keep the winner. I determine the winner by open rate. That's why I'm just keeping it as it is. Suppose if you're using 2 emails, it's 2 emails to understand which email is really working out. If you're using 2 content blocks in the email, different 2 content blocks in the email, then you use the CPA button. You basically need to try to understand which content block this customer is interacting. In that case, CPA. For the use case that we are doing now of open rate, I'm going with determining the winner by higher unique open rate. How long this evaluation should be monitored? The more and more days that you treat here, it's going to give you more accurate results. Because when I send an email now, when I keep it as a 3, it's going to be evaluating this for 3 days, continuously for 3 days. Then this evaluation will be computed by the 3 days. For example, if I trigger an email now, some customers will open it. Some customer may open the email away. Some customer may not open the email immediately. Sometimes they open in the evening. Some customers may check before they go to sleep or someone when they get up the next day. There are some customers who may open on weekends also. When you give some more time for the system to evaluate, it will give you more accurate results. If you have a tense time, if you cannot wait for 3 days to complete the testing, at least keep it as a 1 day. Then your winner will be declared after 1 day. In case if you don't have a tense time, just keep it as a 3 to 5 days. Then it will give you a more accurate results. Perfect. Let me move on to the next step, which is going to be a fund management. This is a final step that we have to do it. It's very simple again. We just have to schedule it all over. If you would like to schedule or if you would like to send it immediately. If you say immediately, then we have to send winning email to the remainder manually or automatically. When you say manually, after 3 days, once this evaluation is completed, we have to come to A/B testing and manually we have to trigger the email to the remainder category. We have to manually trigger. We have to tell the system, please trigger. We'll be having an option in the setup. Once you come back here, and then you'll be able to see who's the winner. And then you can trigger the remainder category in your templates. If you say automatically, system will shoot out the email as soon as the testing is completed. Here we have a winner, then the winner is declared. At a scheduled time you can configure. Now we are activating this by end of 3 days. It's going to be 19. Indeed, that's once a day, whichever the date that you configure here. System will automatically trigger the email activates to be ready 19 at 8 p.m. all. This is both two of these options that we have, but majority of the time we go with automatic. In case if you have any special requirement based on a campaign, you can also go with initiating the manual emails to the remainder category. Now from address and then email, notification is all pretty much straightforward. We have already covered this part. You have the extra part here, which is the email notification. If the evaluation is completed, if the testing is completed and winner is declared at any point of time, if you would like to get your notification, it can give you an email address and then click on Finish. The system will be keep on giving you an update about what's happening for your email testing. At the same time, once the test is completed, you will also get notification. These are all other steps that we have to do it for the email testing. It's pretty much simple and straightforward. No technical stuff is required. It's going to be very much same for all the test types. There's no much difference. Let me now go back to the another testing type that we have. In A/B testing, the actual emails are not sent. Is it just testing? Actual emails goes to the customers. If actual email goes to the customers, suppose if you have a 10,000 customers, you have to send out the email. We pick up some 1,000 customers. We randomly split some 1,000 customers and then we send out the email to this 1,000 customers. And that's when we'll be able to check if they are, what is their reaction, and which is like we're working out for the organization. It has to be actual customers. This is for testing the behavior of the customer on whether they are opening the emails. I really didn't follow what's the purpose of this. The purpose is, suppose if you add an email template which is really not giving you a good open grade, there's something wrong with your email. We use this A/B testing to understand what something went wrong with the subject line, or if it's all put together with mail or one of the content blocks is not really working out well for us, or is it a front end? We used on the different test types. We understand what went wrong with this system campaign. Like if you don't get a proper response or if the customers are not engaging, then we use the A/B testing. Let's imagine that you have been getting a good response for the past 2 years. Suddenly, all of a sudden, you are not getting any good open grade and no customers are taking your email. And there is something definitely wrong and you need to update your email template. And that's when we do all of the A/B testing and we understand, and then we adapt the new changes into the template. At one time, we can only test one thing, like test type. Yes, only one test type that can be executed. We have a path optimization, something called path optimization. In Juni we'll know, where you can test multiple types, multiple emails, multiple test types, plenty of them. We can do it in the path optimization. But in email, it's your A/B testing. We have only test type with all of them, and only one test type can be used at Google Cloud Platform. Suppose in the real scenario, if you are giving 5% and another one is 70% in the subject line. In the content also, something out of code or off should be showing the content also. I didn't get your question. Can you please come back to me, please? No, in this similar example, we are specifying 50% use this code and 70% use this code. Obviously, we need to specify something in that content also. That will be a different test type. This is only for the subject line. If you would like to have two different contents in the email and then you would like to test out, and it's a different test type which is going to be content area. Now let's see, since you mentioned about how we can test out the two different contents in the email template. I'm going back to email template and then I have to add one content box. Next, now let's imagine that you would like to test out two assets all. It can be image, it can be content form, or it can be some CD button, or it can be any content all. A/B testing is not only meant for like only text that we can test it or something like that. It can be any form of content all. If I scroll down a little bit, you may notice that we don't have A/B testing content box. Let me drag and drop A/B testing content block. The use case now is you would like to test out 2CD button. You have already CD button here all. When I drag and drop A/B testing into my content block into my email template, I get two options, content A and content B all. I can create a 2CD button and then I can test it out which one is really working out for me. Example, let me just execute this all. Let me go back. Here I'll create a 2CD button, or it can be any content block. As we discussed, it can be any like a 2 HTML form, or it can be any like a 2 XML content that you would like to test it out. It's really different from what I'm just doing and trying to make samples for you. Now for testing out 2CD buttons. All here, we have this button here. Yes, we call it button. Here I'll come up with the two creative button. The first one button, click here to claim your 5% off. I'll name it as a CDY. All. Now I'll create a one more CD button. Content block button. This one. Click here to know more about the offer. I'm just coming up. I have a 2CD button link, and also we can just keep it wherever we would like to take the customers, and we mostly same link. Here I will name it as CD button 2. There are two CD buttons that I have created. Now I would like to test out which CD1 is really working out for me. All that is my concept here. Now if I open my email template and I have to work with CD button in the email directory. Now we don't need the CD button. Instead of the CD button, I'll add the CD testing. Here we get an option to pick up content A and content B. In the content A, I will pick up the CD1. CD1 in the content B and pick up C. CT. All simple now. Now, when you have this A/B testing content block, that's when we will be able to use this testing type. If I click on choose, my email will start appearing only if I'm using this A/B testing content block. It takes no data for because I just saved this email template. In case if you would like to do A/B testing based on content area, you should have this content block. You should have this A/B testing content block in your email template. Otherwise, it will not reflect for you here in the A/B testing all. I'll refresh this and then we will be able to pick up this email template in the A/B testing. Now let's do this. Now we are going to be testing with the CTA button. It can be two different images or it can be two different cancellations. It could be anything. And I'll create a new A/B testing here. But the only challenge that we have, I would say not challenge limitation, that we have with the A/B testing is we can create only testing with the two components. It can be either A or B. We cannot create more components for testing. That's the kind of a limitation that we have with the A/B testing. I would say that is something we can. This is something we have a part optimization journey in the builder. That's super helpful in case if you would like to test out more components. Now let's go with the content area testing. When I click on choose now, my email should start reflecting here. Yes, now I can see it. Before it was not reflecting for me here because I did not. I wasn't using this content A/B testing content block. If you are not using this content block in your email template, you cannot use. You won't be able to pick up your email from here. All that kind of heads up for you. Let's click on next. And then you will see a content area A and also a content area B. But I don't see the CTA button. It automatically picks up here all content. Area A is something that we have picked up here as a content area A and B. It usually shows in a very small character here, but it's not. Now let's go to the next step. Now the rest of them is going to be same as it is. Rest of the 7 configurations are going to be pretty much same as what we have done already on the previous testing. We pick up the recipient and we tell what is the number of percentage speed that you would like to do with. And then pretty much everything is going to be same, no changes. All we do pick it. You pick the customers based on your requirement. As someone asked, we send this email to the real customers. We cannot test out like this with actual, like by the colleagues or like the friends and colleagues related and all of them. We don't really like to be testing with them. We send the email to the customers, the real customers. And then that's when we'll be able to figure out how the email campaigns are really working out for them. And what we do is in case if you're coming up with a huge campaign that you have to send out an email to 10 lakh customers. In that 10 lakh customers, we may probably take some 40,000 customers. We do a random split, or we can also split some random customers from the data extension. And then you can send out the email to them. Before you come up with a campaign, actual campaign, you initiate this email to this 50,000 customers. And then you test out which content is working and then which subject is working. You test out everything as much as possible. You cannot test out same type with the same, multiple types of testing with the same customers. If you are testing multiple types, then divide again also 50,000 customers into multiple parts and then initiate the email. And then you will have an insight which subject line and which from name, which content media is really working out for you. Once you have the insight, adopt these changes to actual email. Now you are left off with the 9,40,000 customers. To this 9,40,000 customers, you send out the email. Just make sure that you exclude the customers who have already received the email. You can exclude it. Here, if you have those 50,000 customers here, you can just directly click on this, go to a list and just pick up the 50,000 customers that you have used to send the email. This 50,000 customer will not get the email. This is also something that you can do. It only the 9,50,000 customers will get the email. That's couple of parts is going to be pretty much same. Sure, we have a window evaluation. You just have to tell the system how long it needs to be monitored. It's pretty much the same as what we have on the picture. How do we know which? I have a question. Is sending like two options of subject or whatever options we are trying to test? How do we know which did better? That's what we're defining here. It's based on the two of this logic. One, it can be open if you say open. I'm keeping the evaluation period for 3 days. System will automatically tell you which is the open, which is the window after 3 days. Whichever the template has a more open. Then system will tell you the content area is open. All if you have the content B which has a more click rate, and if you have the determined winner by click rate, then system will automatically tell you after 3 days this content B is a winner for you. When you say the system will tell, where will the system tell? Do you have to go back here to the A/B testing? In the A/B testing back itself, like we'll be able to see the status of the A/B testing that you're doing. That's what we have also configured here in the thin management. Once this testing is completed, you can also get the notification from the SFMC team that your test has been completed. And in case if you'd like to see like the real status of it, you can come back to A/B testing and then you'll be able to see all the stats and everything. Let's secure we have this send winning email to remainder category. Manual automatic. If you see manual, then we have to trigger it manually. Like once there's been an evaluation, it's not needed. Let's see the next type of A/B testing. The A/B testing is some if you work for European-based companies. They released us much on the A/B testing. We don't usually like doing this thing like an email studio. Majority of the time, just 95% of the time, we do A/B testing in Journey Buildup. Because that gives more control for us to test out. We can test out multiple channels. We can test out multiple paths, multiple content. There can be maximum of 10 paths that we can create in path optimization. That's what, something that we manually use it. We'll come to that part in the upcoming session. That is also super powerful in case if you would have to do A/B testing. REST optimization is again pretty much the same, that it has to be the same configuration. We have a test type as an email, which is the next one. Here you can pick up 2 emails. All put together 2 different emails. And then the email. This email will have a different subject line. This email B will have a different subject line. It will have a different content areas. All put together completely 2 different. And then you would like to test out which email is really appealing for the customer and which email customers are engaging more. In order to come up with a kind of a test case like this, you just have to pick up 2 emails here. It's going to be like 10,000 customers. 5,000 customers will get the email here and the rest of the customers will get the email B. And the rest of the steps are pretty much same. What is the recipient and how do we have to decide the email and what is the same management configuration? Everything is pretty much same. All. Here we have a next type which is going to be same date and time. All. We pick up one email but it will deliver at 2 different times. Here you just have to pick up a date and time and a different date and time for the category B. We use the same email but 2 different times. It's been always a mystery for many test frequency experts who understand when customers are opening your email and when we have a real good open grade at all of them. We use this 10 date and time test time to figure out in a day what time customers are responding, what time customers are more engaging with the email communication. Is it in the morning or is it in the evening? That's all we get, kind of an insight from this type of testing. All. Now we have something called Einstein. I'm not sure if you have worked on it. That kind of, I don't think. We do have a license for it. We don't have a license for it. In Einstein, we have something called send time optimization. When you go to send time optimization, it will give you when customers are opening your email communications. Is it like in the morning or is it like in the evening or what time you will get a breakup there? All now, if you like to basically test out with the 2 different date and time, you can definitely use this test time. We know the period. Period is just it appear next to the subject line. And if you'd like to have a group, you can go and then you can also have a period of A and B. And then the rest of these steps and configurations will be the same as what we have done before. All. We will see a path optimization in the upcoming session, which is like the more advanced level of lead testing configurations and everything is safe. But it gives only for option for us to pick up multiple channels. Suppose if your management is saying that Salesforce Marketing Cloud, in Salesforce Marketing Cloud, we have an email to your side, we have a mobile connect, mobile push, and probably like an advertising studio. We have a phone like that. We are using all of these channels very actively. Really, your management is saying, come on, can you please figure out which channel is giving you a good response from it and good engagement? In the path optimization, I can use 4 different channels altogether, and then it's just going to be able to figure out which channel is a winner for me. That's the kind of advanced A and B testing that you can do it in the path optimization, which is something we are going to be covering in the upcoming session. All next step, the next step, which is going to be the last topic in the email studio. When I go to a tracking tab here, we will be able to see all the job IDs and then emails that we have figured. We have created the user initiated and we have also seen how we can create the user get it and write. As soon as we trigger an email, it will create a job ID for me and then the email name and everything. All the information will be kept on capture show. All, and you will also have the date and time if the status is complete or not. If you have schedule in the future date, it will show you schedule all. And then we have all the stats about how many emails being sent, how many clicks opened and delivered. I think we discussed about this yesterday, that you should have a minimum of, you should have a good delivery rate, which has to be above 95%. Technically, that's to be 95.6% is what it says in the survey and from the previous experience. If you don't have a delivery rate which is equal to not greater than 95%, then you have to definitely check your audience. There's something definitely wrong there. You may be sending out the customers to the inactive subscribers, or you may be sending the email to the elderly bounce customers, or you may be sending the email to the customers who has not been in teaching for the past 1 or 2 years. It's always the best practice to keep on cleaning the data that you have all. You remove all the advantage to customers. You remove all the bounce customers, and you remove all the inactive customers, our failed customers, test customers. Remove all of them. Just make sure that you remove them, and then you send out the email. And that's when you will have a good delivery rate. Because whenever you get that delivery rate which is less than 95%, it is going to hurt your IP reputation. If the IP reputation goes back, all of the email that we sent out from SFC will be added directly to a spam folder or a promotion folder all. That is a situation that we get into if you don't look into the hygiene of the customers that you keep in FC for Smart TikTok. We have also some yearly audit that we check on yearly basis to see, like what is the customer status, who are engaging, who are not engaging. We keep on cleaning the customers for that frequency in order to keep the IP reputation good in the technical system all. Now let's open one of the email that I probably, like someone, has initiated from here. Let me just open this one. This job ID is unique for each and every email that you trigger all. With this job ID, you can write a query and then you can filter out how many customers open. Click on all of them all. You can also combine multiple job IDs in a single SQL query all. That is something we'll be checking in the second half of the program in the Automation Studio, how we can write a query for a scratch in Salesforce, Smart, TikTok all. When I say SQL, I'm not sure like if any of you have worked on SQL before this. SQL uses only the data that we have inside Salesforce. Smart TikTok. It doesn't work like my school. We cannot refer a data or a table from different servers. In Marketing Cloud, which of the data that you have in a data extension or a list, it can be referenced. Only those data. It cannot reference the data which we have in the other external servers. We'll come into that part now, very much in brief. Total email that we have sent is to 10 customers. And out of that, in the inbox activity, we have 5 customers have opened it. And out of 5 customers, only 1 customer have opened my email. Here, sometimes it's useful when I check this in the tracking all. Suppose, if the management is coming back, you trigger an email today. And after 3 days or 4 days, the management is coming back to you asking to send the campaign to the same customers only if they have not opened. We have to trigger the same email to the customers who has not opened my email. All this is the kind of request that you get after you trigger an email. After 3 days, you get this request. Now, when you open this tracking here, you have unengaged subscribers. Total delivered is 10, did not click is 9 and did not open is 5. These are the 5 customers who get your email communication. You just click on them. Here you get all of this option, all of the subscribers who did not click your email. You open your email and you export all of them into a CSV file and then import these customers into data extension and trigger an email today. That's something that we can do. When it says like adding all the attributes here, you have to just include the email address. To resume the address, you will get the 5 customers and then import them into a data extension, separate data extension, and trigger the email to the data. It helps us. This is one of the nifty feature that we have in Salesforce Dr. Cloud to understand which customers are engaging with the email communication. Some cases it's very useful whenever you are coming up with a follow-up campaign to be delivered. We get a very gentle stats here, like how many open, how many clicked, how many conversions, salaries and subscriptions, and all of them open performance, delivery performance. There are no hard bones, soft bones, block bones, and all of them. You also have to keep an eye on it. If the customer does have a hard bones, please always look at it. Soft bones and block bones is sometimes. It will be keep on changing. But if you have a hard bones, that means your customer has an email address. Immediately remove the hard bones customers. And whenever you send the next email to the customers. Moving on to the next topic. Here, it kind of gives you a heat map. All where your customers are clicking your email. All here in this. There are plenty of links that we have in the email template. You see kind of a heat map where customers are engaging. For this link, there's a 0% of a customer have clicked it. And here's your percentage, 0%, 0%, 0% everywhere. Except this particular link. One customer has clicked this link and then we get the stats here. If you have a multiple CD button in the email and CD button 2, 3, 4, you would like to have a 4 CD button in the email. And you can easily do that by looking at this email overlay view to see like which CD button is your thing. If others are not working, just remove them. And then you can make the small changes in your email template. And this also kind of gives you insight to understand like which link is working out of them. These 2 tabs, conversion and service, right? We need an email form license. There's the email form license, which needs to be implemented, which needs to be enabled for this account, for this whole instance. And that's when we'll be able to start using the email form. The email form content block has a capability of capturing the customer response in the email template directly. Or suppose, if you would like to come up with a form in the email messages, we can use the email form. And when customers are filling the email form, the conversion status will be recorded here. Which subscriber key has submitted these details and what is the details? What is the first time, last time? And all of the details will be captured in this conversion tab. And same goes for survey. Using an email form functionality, you can also take a survey through an email. Like you can run a poll, like poll's going to be the next site will be in now. Is it going to be a K3 or KPR? There are different cricket teams. In case, if you would like to come up with some random poll, then this is also something possible in email, but we need email form content loggable for our code. That's not a paid feature, but it needs to be. It is available only for the customers who are premium customers. This was established, something we'll be able to check once we have the email form. Here we have a job link. This is also in some cases very useful. It will have all the links that we are using in the email template. It will have all the links. For each and every link, it will create a URL ID for it. All this URL ID is unique. Suppose, let's imagine that you have triggered an email now at 7:57 am. I have triggered an email. And after 2 minutes, I realized I had used the wrong URL in the PTA button. Instead of adding it on com, I may probably save it Amazon.com. That's a small mistake that I have done it. And I realized this immediately. And then I can just come to job link because the job ID will be created immediately. As soon as I trigger, come to a job link and click on job ID. And here you get the URL and change the URL here and click on save. And if any customers open the email for the first time, they will go to the correct URL because we have already updated the URL ID here. Suppose if the customers are already open, unfortunately we cannot change anything. They would have landed into a wrong landing page. But if the same customer opened the same email once again and they click on the play button, they will be taken to a correct to the button. Because all of the data are sitting in the email service. If anything we make a changes it immediately, changes to the email service. And then the customer will get the updated links for them in their inbox. We never do it. We never send the email and then change the link. That's that's the worst case that we do it. But we never ever, we send out email and then we come back and change the job links here. It's not a best practice at all. And just giving you an example how this job link can be used in some cases. But just keep it in mind that don't change the links like after we send out the email. Only if you have done a mistake by without knowing, then you realize it and then we can change the trip. And these 3 tabs are something which has been created by the user. I'm not sure how they have created these 3 tabs. This is something that we usually don't have. We usually have things on it. That's it from my side on the tracking part. Any questions before we proceed for work? For the next topic, I just want to talk about a few things in admin part. And with that, we'll just wind up our session. Probably we can wind up very early today and then we start with a new studio from next session. Any questions? Yes, Nina. The tracking area, do we use any SQL or anything to pull the report? Just a report. Yes, just only the report in the Email Studio drafting tab. But we also have an option for SQL. That's something we have to do it from a different studio. But here in Email Studio, it's only the reports we get here. We can extract, we can sort them. Thank you. Yes, Mike. Just a quick question. Do you have the ability to export a report as a PDF? Yes, we do have, but not from here. We have analytics builders, which is something we are going to be covering next. And we also have something called Dataroma. From using two, we can use the reports and also Dataroma to export the report in PDF, or you can also export this report to FTP, or you can also export the report in PPT format. There are plenty of formats that we can export to file, but it has to be done from an analytics builder. Perfect. Thank you. Great. Dataroma is a new capability that we have in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Unfortunately, we don't have a license for it, and it's also not part of the program. But what I will do is there was a couple of participants who answered the first step for the Dataroma session, just like for 5-10 minutes. I have taken a screenshot from other account. In tomorrow's session, we are going to be talking about Analytics Builder. There, I can share those screenshots with you, and then you'll be able to see how the interface works. It's very simple, but we get a more option for exporting, and it's user-friendly, and it's very interactive than the reportings that we have here. I'll quickly cover a couple of things in the administration. Majorly like, if you are a campaign specialist, you may not have access to this administration tab. Some cases, if you have administration tab, there are some things that you can look into here. Mainly is the sender profile. Suppose if you would like to come up with your own sender profile, then we can definitely go and create a new sender profile. We have already discussed about creating a new sender profile. Example, you have 4 products. Product 1, Product 2, Product 3, Product 4. For each and every product, you would like to have all put together, different from name and from email. All. If you are sending an email about the product 1, then the from name from email. This has to be different. There are some cases that we may have to create a sender profile. We are discussing about different products that your organization has. Product 1, Product 2, Product 3 and Product 4. All. Whenever I send the email about Product 1, I use the sender profile. All sender profile is nothing but we know the form name and email. This is the form name. Whenever we send the email in the inbox, we let me show from name in the inbox. This is the form name and this is the form email. This is really important. Like for determining the open rate. All, if it's not relevant for me, I may not open my email. All this form, name and from email is really important. Most of the time, if you get an email from Amazon, you get from name as Amazon then, and then you see a relevant from email support at the data from Amazon come, and then like or know the data from Amazon come. It helps you to give a good open rate. I'm not you. Let's come up with a new name for each and every product. Then you can create this end up or function. You give it a name here at Lexia Product 1 probably. Product 1. And you leave the description. It's one key and you can give a description here. And if you'd like to create a new center profile, pick up this option here and then give it a name. This is a name which a customer will get. Example, Amazon I-9 represents India. If you would like to send the email for Germany, then you may probably create a new center profile and say from name as Amazon D represents Germany. From email Germany or the rate of Amazon. The all. And this from email has to be a valid one. It cannot be done. We cannot just come up with something. It has to be valuable because whenever you create a center profile, you have to click on verify and verification email will go to your inbox. When you click that and then when you verify it, that's when you can start using this in the profile for sending out the email. Otherwise, it's not possible to use it. And the learners will verify it. It's not possible. Or like this, we can create a different from name and from email for various products. And that's when we use this in the profile. And apart from that, we also have sometimes test sent for shows. We usually keep some 180 days. Here it is 10. That means in user initiated time we can pick up a text recipe and still send the email. And you can send the maximum of 1000 emails to a test recipient. That's the maximum threshold. If you see that you won't be able to send out any more test emails, it will give you a kind of warning when you hit 10. That's the kind of a threshold that we set here in the administration tab. You may not work in this administration tab until in this URL administrator, but I would like to give a head up for all other tabs which you may probably frequently call it. And again, this URL experimentation is also something that we set up. This only one, not wherever we set up the SFMC code. And after that, we don't touch this part. Whenever we send out the email, the CT button that we have in the email, it will automatically expand after 60 days. It's left here. Usually we keep it for 1 year. My organization has the CT button link which is going to be valid for 280 days, I believe. 280 days or 300 days. Here in this particular SFMC code, we have a very left face. And then after it expires, if you open the CT button, it will take you a Salesforce default page saying that the link has been expired. That's the kind of system shows a kind of a small error automatically that the email has expired. If you open the email after 60 days, not opening the email, if you click on any CT button in the email. And in case if you like to open the email after 60 days, and then if you would like to take them to work customized URL, then you can define your URL here. And as soon as when the link is expired, then you go to this customized URL that you defined here. Perfect. This is also a very rare case that we use this pre-header and subject line validation. By default, we have a test, draft, proof and all of this added as a keywords. As for general email marketing concept, we cannot use a flashy keyword like hurry, hurry up, limited offers, limited offers. Only one item left. These are considered as a flashy keywords. If you use these keywords in your email template, there is a high chance that your email may mark as a promotional. It may go to a spam folder. That's why we always try to avoid these flashy keywords in the subject line. We can add the keywords as a subject line and see here a validation test. If your email does have any of these keywords, it will give you kind of a warning. Now this gives more information. It's maybe because I have used space here. Unless it's not allowing me to save because I don't have administration. I have only a few parts of access. It's not allowing me to do it, but it's very simple and straightforward. If these keywords does exist in your subject line or pre-header, it will throw a warning to you whenever you execute the campaign. It will tell you like, you have much keywords. Do you want to like? Are you sure you want to keep them? That's the kind of validation error that you get. And that's all we quite frequently work with. File location and key management is really important, especially when you would like to increase the data at the time of sending to a third-party system. And in case, if you would like to register a third-party FP locations and use two of them. It's mainly not being used for email, but we use this to office in the automation studio. I'll come to this topic in the upcoming sessions because we spent some good amount of time into office topics, which will be in the automation studio. That's it from my side on the email studio part. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.